All right. So it's nice to be here. Let me get this together. I come bearing good gifts today, and I would be talking about letters of recommendation in this video. And the good gifts that I bring is that if you click on the link down below, I have examples of letters of recommendations that you can look at. Some of them I have written for people. So if you're interested, check out the link. It doesn't take you to some swanky website asking for your email. It just takes you straight to the material. So I hope you enjoy it. Today I'll be talking about letters of recommendation, and I'm very excited about this topic because I think a lot of people get it wrong. There is a general assumption that one aspect of your graduate school application is more important than another, but that is a erroneous assumption that would land you in trouble. Everything is important in this process, and so you can't afford to skip one step and just go to something else. If you were being approached by a student to write a recommendation letter, or you're a student and you want to get ideas to write a draft for a recommendation letter to send to your professor, you're on the right place, and just keep watching and leave a comment below if you enjoy this content. So there are 10 things to keep in mind as a student that is about to request for a letter of recommendation. Item number one is you need to determine the people that will be your recommenders. You need to step back and decide who's going to be my recommender. This is very important. I cannot overemphasize it. Whether you're a scientist or a non-scientist, whoever has provided you guidance during your undergraduate project or has mentored you in your field, that person has to be one of your recommenders. Now, another person that should recommend you is somebody who has mentored you in a professional industrial capacity, which could be somebody who was your IT manager or mentor or something like that. That would be great. Now, you could also get another professor, maybe the professor, maybe let's put it this way, your favorite professor in college, the professor you liked the most, or whose class you enjoyed the most, or whose class you know you did very well in. That could be your third person. Can you approach a stranger and ask them to write a recommendation letter for you? When I say a stranger, somebody you have not interfaced with or interacted with or has not taught you or mentored you in any way, should you approach them and ask them to write your recommendation letter? The answer is a resounding no. Don't do it. Don't think about it. Don't consider it. It doesn't help you in any way. So the point of the recommendation letter is to get a perspective of you that does not appear in other aspects of your application, and it has to come from people who have experienced you as a person. Step number two of this process, I would say, is to notify your chosen ones. Let me call them chosen ones. So now that you have your chosen ones, your recommenders, notify them of your need for a recommendation letter. Please do this, I would say, at least 3 months before the application deadline. Step number three, when you ask somebody to be your recommender, you can offer to send them bullet points and bullet points of what would help them write you a good recommendation letter. Now, standard practice, this is not my practice in any way, standard practice of writing a recommendation letter, or requesting for it rather, I beg your pardon, is you would send your resume to your recommender. You send bullet points of things you might want them to talk about. And again, hear what I said, bullet point. So you send them bullet points of things that you might want for them to talk about. And then you can also send them your transcript if you have it, so that they get an idea of your academic performance. Sometimes it's even good if it is somebody that you've done really well in their class, they will be happy to talk about. Sometimes you're asking for rec letters and it's been 5 years since you and that person interacted. They need all those documents to remember sort of like you and who you are and like what they should say about you. And so the bullet points would help be specific about what you wanted to talk about, and that should take care of that. Step number four here, I would say, if the recommender is open to it. I know recommenders in Nigeria and some African countries and some European countries, some Asian countries, I've heard people do this even in the US. If the recommender is open to it, offer to send them a draft. Now, what this does is it puts a little bit of power in your hand, and it also gives the recommender a lot of time. Like, it saves them time. They don't have to sit down and start writing the letter from the scratch. It removes writer's block for them. Basically, they get a draft from you and they just skim through it and they go, they do their glass like this and they look at it like, okay, looks good. Where do I sign? I sign here, there. You get the gist, yeah? So my point is, you remove the writer's block for your recommender and it makes life easy for you, it makes life easy for them. I guess, my bad, it doesn't make life easy for you because you get to write one more thing, except really you get to write 3 more things. If all 3 are open to it, you get to write 3 recommendation letters quote unquote draft, but recommendation letters, and you send it to your recommenders for them to take a look at. Why this is important sometimes is it puts the power in your hand to provide fresh perspective about yourself with 3 different letters. Think about it. So you would use those 3 letters, provide fresh perspectives about yourselves, about yourself, that are actually all very different, and then your SOP provides one perspective of you, and then it's your academic performance. So when an admission officer looks at this, they go from one material to another material to another material to another, and they're seeing new aspects of you. They're like, "Oh, this person is they just got more interesting." It's like, "Oh, wow, they wow, this applicant just got more interesting." So my point is, the admission officers looking at your application material, and they are wowed each time they pick up a new material. It tells them something new. What you don't want is for the recommendation letter to reiterate the SOP, or to be a repetition of your resume, or to be a repetition of your LinkedIn page, or to be a repetition of your transcript, because the admission officer already has all those things. They don't want to see it again. So it has to tell them something new about you. For step number 5, take the initiative to kindly remind your recommenders 1 month to time about your request for a recommendation letter. And the way you do this is to send out a quick message. If you have access to them in person, then definitely when you see them, remind them about it. And but if you are the one sending them draft, tell them that you are working on the draft and you send them a draft soon. What that entails is that they are made aware 1 month to the time that it's almost time. Step number 6 of this process is to kindly notify your recommenders when the portal is open for them to send in their letters. Typically, you've submitted their email, they get notified through email. They got to go click certain links, fill out a survey, upload your letter, and call it a day. So explain the process to them, be kind, be gentle, and notify them when the action is on them. For item number 7, basically, once you've submitted all application materials and you get notified that the recommender has sent in the letter, please write them a thank you note. Okay, you don't have to wait for the decision before you do this. So write them a thank you note. If you have access to them in person, write a note and go give them the note and say thank you. If you don't have access to them, write them a nice email or write them a nice text message and say thank you for believing in me, for helping me and supporting me through this process. For step number 8 of this process, definitely remember to notify your recommender again once you get the final decision. So if the decision is positive or negative, please reach out to your recommender. Now, if it is positive, reach out and thank them once again and say, "Hey, thank you for writing me a good recommendation letter, or for supporting me during my application process and being my recommender. I got accepted to XYZ University and I plan to attend here." Please always tell your recommender. Some of you get admitted to 5 schools, 6 schools, 7 schools, 2 schools, 1 school, whatever it is. Be very specific about what you want to do next. Tell the recommender, "Hey, thank you for supporting me. I got accepted to 3 schools and I want to go to this particular school. This is why." So just tell them. You don't have to wait for them to ask you. That way they feel like you're grateful and that you care enough to tell them about your future plans. So that it's just professional courtesy. Please do that. If for some reason you don't get accepted, don't ice out your recommender. Reach out to them, thank them once again for supporting you and writing a recommendation letter for you, and tell them that unfortunately you did not get accepted into any school, but that you're resilient and that you're determined to try again and you do not plan to give up. Why you need to do this is to make sure that this recommender is still in your corner, so that when you're trying again, they're still open to helping you. If you ice them out, you don't say thank you, you don't notify them, you don't reach out, you're not professional, and you come back again. So for some reason it doesn't work the first time, you come back a second time, you're like, "Come and write a recommendation letter again for me." So you only come around when you need help, you only come around when you need something. Yeah, not good, buddy, not good, guys. So again, the idea is be communicative, be very open, don't be a user, don't be a manipulator. So just be straightforward. Tell them you will need help again, but like, be communicative of these things. Don't disappear when you get rejected and then show up 8 months later and say, "Hi, can you write me a recommendation letter again?" Why? You didn't give them update on the last one at all. Yeah, don't do that. And for the final step, which is step number 9, this is a bonus step, so but it is very important, very, very important. It is simply have somebody take a look at your letter of recommendation, or get a second look at your letter of recommendation. This is important. Have a second pair of eyes. Have somebody look at it. Have your friend look at it. Have, I don't know, a colleague look at it. Have somebody who you know is serious, somebody you trust that will give you good feedback, to look at your all 3 if you have access to it. Oh, also, if you are dealing with a professor who has said they don't want to draft, they want to write it, still feel free to email them or text them or ask, however you communicate with them, ask them if they are open to sending you a copy of your letter so you would see it. Sometimes the universities would ask, did XYZ student waive their right to see this recommendation letter? Always say yes. Always say yes. I think sometimes it creates the impression that the student is being tricky or sleeky or sneaky. I don't know. I feel like I just said 3 rhyming words for some weird reason. But okay, if you don't be sleeky or sneezy or tricky or whatever the words are, don't be that guy. But when they're asking if you waive your right to see the letter, please say yes. Always say yes. Just protect yourself. Basically cover your behind. The idea is you want to make sure that the letter being sent on your behalf is effective, is strong, and is something that would make you look good to the admission committee, but more importantly provides a fresh perspective and is truly a commendable recommendation letter. The last thing you want is a 1-paragraph letter. So all right guys, this has been fun, this has been good so far. I've enjoyed making this video just talking about rec letters. It's a bit more like a freestyle flow for me for this one, but also I have provided examples of letters of recommendation down below. Please check it out, because I feel like sometimes I can be here and I can talk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and sometimes some people just want to see what the letter looks like, and once they see it, they can be able to write something. The letters I've provided are not templates for you to use directly verbatim for yourself. They are supposed to give you ideas about what the letter looks like, you know, how they should sound and all of that, the formatting and all of the rest of the stuff. So that said, I think this has been fun. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. If you found value in this video, share it with a friend, share it with people, or in group chats where people are talking about grad school application. Please help direct traffic my way, and definitely subscribe to the channel and hit the like button and hit the notification bell. Basically hit all the bells, all the buttons down there, because come on, you're doing the Lord's work. And also, once you do any and all of those things, you're being a blessing to other people, because the YouTube algorithm is able to show this video to more people who would find it and get blessed just like you. So again, I've enjoyed doing this, so I hope you have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next video.